Sam kicks off today's game with a swamp and a thorough parasite. John and Tom each play plains in their turn, while Extra plays a tapped hinterland harbor. Sam then takes his second turn, playing an island and attacking John with the parasite. He then casts Vohar, Vodalian Desecrator, then passes to John. John plays a forest and taps 2 for Arcane Signet, then hands it to Tom. Tom plays a mountain and a Bloodthirsty Blade, and passes. Extra plays a Brushland, then Forest seeks a tapped Sporus Headquarters. The turn then goes back to Sam. Sam first taps Vohar, drawing and discarding, plays an island, then casts his commander, Mirko, Obsessive Theorist. He then attacks John with the Throll Parasite once again. But John decides to show everyone what happens when you mess with his life total and casts Swords to Plowshares targeting Mirko. The spell resolves, and Sam's commander goes straight back to the command zone, while Sam gains 1. Sam then passes to John. John plays a Rockfall Veil, then pays 3 to morph a creature. He passes to Tom. Tom plays a Sundown Pass as his land drop, then pays 1 to attach a Bloodthirsty Blade to John's face-down creature, goading it. The turn then goes to Extra. Extra plays a forest, then casts Duggan, Private Detective, who gives Extra a clue on ETB. With nothing else, Extra passes back to Sam. Sam plays an island, and activates Vohar again, drawing and discarding. He plays a Milliken, followed by Jace of Rin's Prodigy. He attacks Tom with the Parasite this time, with Tom declaring no blocks. Sam then passes. John plays a Forest for turn, then swings the Goaded Morpher at Sam for 4. He plays a Whisperwood Elemental in a second main, then goes to his end step. This is when Whisperwood triggers, letting John manifest the top card of his library. The turn then moves to Tom. Tom plays the Plains, then casts his commander, Nelly Borca, Impulsive Accuser, before passing. On Extra's turn, he goes directly to combat, swinging Duggan at Sam, with Duggan triggering on attack and making another clue. Sam takes the hit, and Tom forgets his first Nelly trigger of the game. Extra then proceeds to cast Novice Inspector, who investigates, followed by a Kappa Cannoneer, which enters, triggering itself and giving it a +1/+1 counter. Extra then passes. In his main phase, Sam activates Milliken and his 2 looters, milling 1 and adding a colorless, then drawing and discarding with both Vohar and Jace. Upon resolution of his effect, Jace also meets his transformation condition and flips to his Planeswalker's side. Sam then recasts Mirko. He plays a Sunken Hollow for turn. Sam then pluses Jace for 1, giving Duggan -2/-0 until Sam's next turn. He then goes to his end step, triggering Mirko and returning New Scrap Mob from his graveyard with a finality counter. The mob enters with 5 1/1 counters, then the turn moves to John. John plays a Cinder Glade as his land drop, then morphs another creature from his hand. On cast, New Scrap Mob triggers, with Sam removing a counter from it and making it 2/2 zombie. John then turns his other morphed creature face up, which turns out to be a Den Protector. Since it's a Megamorph card, it gets a +1/+1 counter in addition to its other effect, which let John return his plow from his graveyard to his hand. John then swings the still goated Den Protector at Jace, dropping his loyalty to 1. He then passes, manifesting from the top with Whisperwood Elemental as he does so. Tom plays a Combat Calligrapher, triggering New Scrap Mob, which makes another 2/2 zombie. He plays a tapped Sacred Foundry for turn, then passes the Extra. Extra starts his turn by once again attacking Sam, this time with both Duggan and Kappa Cannoneer. Duggan triggers, making a clue, which in turn gives the Kappa another 1/1 counter. Combat Calligrapher also triggers, giving Tom a tapped and attacking 2/1 Inkling. Sam blocks the Inkling with Mirko and dug in with one of his zombies, then takes the rest. Tom remembers his Nelly Borca trigger this time, letting both Tom and Extra draw a card. In Extra's second main, he casts Junk Winder, with Newscraft Mob making another zombie. Extra then passes to Sam, and on Extra's end step, Sam pays 2 life and taps his Troll Parasite to remove the finality counter from Newscraft Mob. Sam then moves to his own turn, tapping his Milliken and milling 1, then looting with Volhar. He plays an island for turn, then casts Pongify, targeting Duggan. Newscraft triggers, making a zombie. Duggan then dies, and Extra makes a 3/3 ape. Sam then casts Mnemonic Wall, returning the freshly cast Pongify to his hand. Newscraft also triggers, removing its final counter and making a zombie. Sam then pluses Jace again, this time targeting Nelly. He then goes to combat, attacking John with Mirko, triggering Combat Calligrapher, and getting a 2/1 Inkling. John declares no blocks, and Sam and Tom both draw thanks to Nelly. Seeing that Sam didn't really get the message from earlier, John opts to remind him by applying Mirko a second time. Sam then passes, with a missing commander and a bunch of reanimate fodder stuck in his yard. On his turn, John plays the Forest. He attacks Sam with Them Protector, getting an Inkling with Combat Calligrapher. Sam doesn't block either, and John and Tom both draw thanks to Nelly. John then finally casts his own commander, Kaust, Eyes of the Glade. He morphs another creature from his hand, then passes, manifesting from the top with Whisperwood Elemental. Tom plays a mountain, then casts Sontaran General. He then goes to combat, swinging all out at Extra. His attackers get a bunch of triggers, with Combat Calligrapher making an attacking Inkling, Sontaran General goading Extra's Ape token, and Nelly suspecting and goading Junk Winder. Extra takes the hit, then Tom passes to Extra. On Extra's upkeep, he sacks a clue to draw. He plays the Hallowed Fountain untapped, paying 2 life. He then casts the Adventure half of Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy, making a clue. This triggers Kappa, which gets a 1/1 counter, and Junk Winder, which freezes Kaust. Extra then attacks Sam with the Junk Winder and the Ape token, while the Kappa Cannoneer goes to John. Combat Calligrapher triggers twice, and Extra gets an Inkling for Sam and John each. This triggers Junk Winder 2 more times, and it freezes both Nelly and Whisperwood Elemental. Sam then blocks the Junk Winder with 3 of his zombies, and the Ape with Mnemonic Wall, while John declares no blockers. Before damage, Extra tries to save the Winder with Confront the Unknown, investigating and giving it +1/+1 for each clue on his side of the field. Sam then decides he doesn't want Extra tapping down all of their creatures, so he burns his Pongify on the Winder, destroying it and giving Extra another Ape. Sam and John both take the combat damage, then Extra and Tom both draw to Nelly, while Extra passes. On his turn, Sam mills a card with Milliken, and loots with Volhar. He plays an island for turn, then casts Soul Ring. He recasts Mirko, then casts Curate, surveilling 2, consequently putting a +1/+1 counter on Mirko, then drawing a card. He goes to combat, attacking Tom with all 4 of his zombie tokens. Tom takes 8 damage, then Sam gives Nelly -2/-0 once again. Sam passes to Tom, returning Wall of Stolen Identity with Mirko on his end step. The wall enters as a copy of Kappa Cannoneer, tapping down the original and preventing it from untapping as long as the wall clone is on the field. The turn then moves to John. John first turns his Jeering Instigator face up, gaining control of Tom's Suntara General until end of turn. He then swings the General, the Jeering Instigator, and 3 of his manifested creatures at Tom. Suntaran General triggers, and John has it go the Combat Calligrapher, In the process, he also unfortunately forgets that he can goad a creature for each of his opponents. As the Jittering Instigator deals damage to Tom, John draws a card with Kaust. John plays a Sundown pass for turn. He then passes, manifesting with Whisperwood again. Tom plays a Mountain, then decides to bully Extra a bit more and swings all of his creatures at him once again. He makes an Inkling with Combat Calligrapher and goads one of Extra's apes, forgetting the other two players as well. Extra blocks Sontarra General with Novice Inspector and takes the rest. In his second main phase, Tom plays Skin Invasion, enchanting one of Extra's Inklings with it. He then plays an Iron Mirror, then passes. Extra plays an Inspiring Statuary, then casts Nysa of Traken, and Bygone Bishop one after the other. He proceeds to attack John with an ape and two Inklings, making a third with Combat Calligrapher. All four creatures connect, and Tom and Extra draw with Nelly. Extra passes the turn to Sam. Sam starts by tapping Milliken and Vohar as per usual. He then casts Consider, surrendering one, giving Mirko a counter, and drawing. He then activates Jace's second ability and recasts Consider from his yard, paying the Extort cost on Thrall Parasite to gain 3 life and make his opponents each lose 1. Mirko also triggers on the second Surveil and gets a counter. Sam continues by casting Mind Stone and paying for the Extort. He stacks the Mana Rock immediately to draw. He plays an island for turn. He then attacks Tom with Mirko and 4 zombies, and Tom responds by murking Mirko with Generous Gift. Sam makes a 33 elephant, Tom takes 8, and Sam moves to his end step. At that point, John decides to cast a Generous Gift of his own, destroying Extra's Nice and of Traken. He also turns his Aniok Survivalist face up, giving it a 1/1 counter thanks to Megamorph, and destroying Tom's Iron Mirror. John then moves to his turn, where he attacks Extra with his Dem Protector, Aniok Survivalist, and one of his manifested creatures, while also attacking Tom with Whisperwood and another manifested creature. Extra blocks the Survivalist and the Manifest with an Ape token each, but John responds by tapping Kaust and turning the Manifest face up, revealing it to be a Krosan Colossus. Additionally, he turns the other manifested creature, attacking Extra face up, this one being a Hooded Hydra, which gets 5 1/1 counters. Tom dies, and John's commander triggers on combat damage, letting him draw a card. In his second main, John morphs a creature, then manifests from the top with Whisperwood Elemental on EOT. He passes to Extra. Extra plays an Owen Hawker, triggering Bishop to investigate, and Kappa Cannoneer to get a 1/1 counter. He casts Idol of Oblivion, and taps it to draw since he already created a token. He follows it up with a Tireless Tracker. He plays a Fortify Village for turn, revealing a Prairie Stream from his hand. This triggers Tireless Tracker's Landfall, which gives Extra another clue, and Kappa another counter. Extra continues by casting Search the Premise. He then attacks John with 3 of his Inklings, and John takes 6. Extra passes the turn, but not before Sam flashes in Malleable Imposter, which enters a copy of Kappa Cannoneer, with both of Sam's Kappas getting a 1/1 counter on seeing it enter. Sam then takes his turn, first making sure to loot with Vohar. He plays a Nesting Grounds for turn. He then casts Auton's Soldier, paying for the Extort and having it enter as a 3rd Kappa, while putting a 1/1 counter on each of them. Extra then activates Nesting Grounds, moving a 1/1 counter from the Defender Kappa to the one with Flying. He then swings the Flying Kappa at John, which is just enough to take him out. And John dies. Sam passes. Extra plays a Prairie Stream, forgetting that he doesn't have enough basics and that it should enter tap. Tireless Tracker makes a clue, and Extra Kappa gets a counter. Extra then activates Idol of Oblivion, drawing a card. He attacks Sam with 3 Inklings and his Bishop, and Sam blocks an Inkling with one of his own. Extra passes. Sam loots with Vohar, then casts Clever Impersonator, paying the Extort and having it enter as another Kappa, giving all of them a 1/1 counter. He moves a counter from his Defender Kappa to his Flying Kappa again. He then swings at extra with his Flying Kappa, his Artifact Kappa, and his Elephant token. This triggers Search the Premise, giving extra 3 clues. Before damage, extra casts Heliod's Intervention, paying a whopping 15 into the X and gaining 30 life. Extra then blocks the Elephant with an Ape token and takes the rest. On Sam's EOT, extra also sacks a clue to draw, giving Tireless Tracker a 1/1 counter. Extra then moves to his turn. He plays an island, making a clue with Tireless Tracker. He proceeds to draw with Idle, then sacks one of his clues to draw again and put a 1/1 counter on the tracker. He casts Lonus, Cryptozoologist, triggering his Bishop and making a clue. Extra follows it up with a 500-year diary, then retaliates at Sam with 2 Inklings and his Bishop. He then passes, hoping to survive to his next turn. Sam loots with Vohar again. He casts Demir's Signet, paying for Extort. The Signet enters, giving all 4 Kappas a 1/1 counter. Sam then pays 2 and sacks Vohar in order to cast Curate from his graveyard. Sam then swings all out at extra for the kill, with extra desperately sacking a clue to find any kind of out. Unfortunately he doesn't, and Sam's creatures connect for the win. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.